For 200 years, the thing sitting in the corner of every colonial American home was quietly killing people. Not a weapon, not a disease, a fireplace. It looked warm, it looked cozy, and it was one of the deadliest design failures in American history, because 90% of the heat it made shot straight up the chimney, while it sucked freezing air in through every crack in the walls. Half a continent was nearly unlivable because of it. And almost nobody today knows the object that finally fixed it: the kitchen stove. In 1818, summer never came to New England. Frost killed crops in June. Snow fell in July. Families across Vermont and New Hampshire watched their harvests die in the fields and called it 1800 and froze to death. Thousands abandoned their farms. But the real problem wasn't the weather. It was the fireplace. English colonists had built their homes around an open hearth that had never worked properly, not once, in 200 years of use. A traditional open fireplace loses 80 to 90% of its heat up the flue. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, for every $100 spent on firewood, you got back maybe $10 to $20 of actual warmth. The rest heated the sky. Worse, the chimney didn't just waste heat, it actively pulled it out of the house, dragging in cold outside air to replace it. Your face burned, your back froze. The machine built to warm you was making your home colder. Families compensated by burning enormous amounts of wood, 30 to 40 cords a year, enough stacked end to end to stretch longer than a football field. Cutting and holing it consumed months of labor every autumn. When winter turned brutal, households sealed off most of the house and crowded into one room, praying the fire wouldn't die overnight. Water froze in bedside pitchers, ink froze in its well, bread turned to stone by morning.
An English visitor to New York in 1827 said American houses looked built purely for summer, with no thought for the 6 brutal months that followed. That negligence had a body count. In 1607, the Popham colony in Maine collapsed after one savage winter. Its leader died, and the survivors sailed home convinced the North was simply unlivable. Interest in colonizing anywhere cold vanished for a decade. Jamestown fared little better. The winter of 1609-1610 became known as the Starving Time. Of 500 colonists, only about 60 survived, after eating their horses, their dogs, their shoe leather. All of this unfolded during the Little Ice Age, a stretch of brutal global cooling from roughly 1300 to 1850. Winters ran longer and harder than today, and indigenous nations like the Wabanaki, who understood real cold weather survival, held a decisive advantage over colonists still huddled at a broken hearth. Help finally came in 1742, when Benjamin Franklin designed a freestanding cast iron stove and refused to patent it, giving the design away for free. But his version had a flaw that choked its airflow. It took until 1780 for Philadelphia inventor David Rittenhouse to fix the flue system, and that corrected version is the one that actually caught on, even though history still calls it the Franklin stove. Around the same time, another American, Benjamin Thompson, moved to Bavaria and became Count Rumford. He redesigned the fireplace itself, taller, shallower, angled to throw heat back into the room instead of soaking it into the brick. London homes converted to his design and went smoke-free almost overnight. Thomas Jefferson installed one at Monticello. Then Rumford went further and built the first true kitchen range, separate fire compartments that could boil, simmer, and bake all at once from a single fire.
By the 1820s, new iron casting techniques made complex metal objects cheap to mass produce, and the cast iron cookstove was the first big winner. Small manufacturers sprang up across New England, competing on design and efficiency. A cast iron stove used roughly half the fuel of an open hearth. When coal arrived via the expanding railroads, the stove went from useful to essential. By the 1880s, most urban American homes ran on one. Here's what made the stove more than a convenience. It made cold places livable. German and Scandinavian immigrants, who'd used closed stoves for centuries back home, poured into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas in the 1830s and 40s, bringing that knowledge with them. Under the 1862 Homestead Act, settlers claimed land that would have been a death sentence a century earlier, because now they had a technology that could turn even dried buffalo dung or corn cobs into real usable heat. Go back to 1816, the year summer never came, the year that emptied whole New England towns. The families who stayed didn't survive because the climate improved. It never did. They survived because a generation later, cast iron stoves from Albany, Troy, and Boston arrived in their kitchens. A $100 machine quietly turned half a continent from a frozen graveyard into a home. Next time you walk past your stove without a second glance, remember, it once decided who got to live and who didn't.